Well, after probably about 20 hours of cutting and welding and fitting, finally done with the floor. Yeah, still got to clean up some of the welds. Yes, they look like something crawled in here and crapped all over it, but most of them came out pretty well, and it fit in here pretty darn good. I had to just do a little head scratch and figure out how to fit these things. But they turned out all right, I think, for an amateur like me. I had to build a little hump because I've got the AOD in there, which sits a little higher than a C4, because C4 is shorter and it mounts differently. But anyway, that looks worse than it is because of that dark metal that's on there, but that'll all clean up once I grind it all smooth. And yeah, I got my holes drilled and located, and I put the stock supports underneath there on both sides for the front seat to mount if I want to use a bench seat. And then I went ahead and drilled holes for all my body mount bolts, front and rear. And then I'll just get those little snap-in rubber grommets to seal those up. I primed and undercoated all the inside of the floor supports, so I don't have to worry about those things rusted. And yeah, this is all in here good and solid. If you don't know if you saw the first video I had, but this rocker was gone from about here back, and the whole section of the floor was gone. The passenger side, you could open the door and walk right up to the frame. There was just literally nothing there. And then all the toe boards were all rotten out, and the bottom of the cowl was all rotten out. Then after getting the hinges off, I found out the top of the cowl was rotten out, so I had to replace this whole cowl and firewall. Got that done. Then just continued on. And so now I got this all in here, and this is a big milestone for me. So now that I got this in, I can move the car forward in my shop because it's not really, I don't have that much room. So I move it forward, then I can start doing I did the front lower quarters, and I still got some welding to do on here. But then I could start doing the rear, excuse me, the rear lower quarters on both sides. Then I also have a roll pan, full roll pan to put on, and also the rear trunk extension, the very part of the rear. The trunk's pretty solid, except for the little well back there where the 3 body bolts go down through. So hopefully I can get all this replaced and welded up, and then get it off the frame. And I talked to a buddy of mine who is a professional welder about welding on some front stubs on the front of the frame so I could put on a Heights front suspension kit on here and update all that. So anyway, yeah, it's looking pretty good as far as I'm concerned. And I've only had the car since about January, and then I also took a month off, and there was some times when I wasn't really doing more than 8 hours a week total on the whole thing. So I don't really have a whole lot of time in this up to this point, and it's turned out pretty good, I think. So just kind of goes to show what you can do with a total pile of scrap. Of course, it's not done yet. It's a long way from being done. So anyway, yeah, just keep on going with what I'm doing.